Hello, I'm going to provide a brief history of the PA profession in a PowerPoint presentation with a fancy background and with Mozart's Sinfonia Concertante in E-flat as the background to make it even more fancy. And if we're all lucky, I may even drift off into a fancy accent every now and then. To begin, we'll begin talking about the major milestones in the PA history. Before you'll see the timeline, and we'll go through each one of these events individually. The first event was a prototype period. Through many years, way back since 1650, the Germans had the Feldschädlers, the U.S. Navy had the Loblolly Boys, and France had Officer de Sante. And not until 1940 did Dr. Amos Johnson employ Henry Budd Treadwell and utilize him in a true PA fashion. Dr. Eugene Stead Jr. was exposed to this during his rotations through his clinic to this assistant model. In 1942, Dr. Eugene Stead Jr. was tasked with creating an accelerated 3-year medical program to meet the demands of the war. In 1961, Dr. Charles Hudson in the Journal of American Medical Association calls for mid-level providers from former military corpsmen. Then in 1964, Dr. Eugene Stead Jr. decided that ex-military corpsmen would be suitable candidates for his 2-year experimental program. Also in 1964, Dr. Rich Smith was tasked with the development of MEDEX, the Medical Extension Physician's Assistant Training Program, with an emphasis on deployment of students and graduates into medically underserved communities. In 1965, Dr. Stead launched the first formal educational program for physician's assistants at Duke University with 4 students, ex-Navy corpsmen, 2 years long, and family practice focused. In the implementation period in 1968, Dr. Smith relocated to the University of Washington to create the first MEDEX program in the country. The mid-1960s to 1970s included a great amount of change, which included equal rights, economic opportunities, and personal recognition. Federal government declared war on poverty and inequality. Medicare and Medicaid were born, and millions of patients entered these systems, and demand for health care could not be met. The implementation period also from 1966 to 1966 showed in 1970, Kaiser Permanente became the first HMO to employ PAs. 1970, AMA House of Delegates passed a resolution recognizing PAs. In 1971, the AMA began working on national certification and codification of PA practice. In 1971 as well, the American Association of Physicians Associates published its first official journal. 1971 as well, Dr. Marvin Gildman and Richard Rosen established the first postgraduate residency program for PAs in surgery. And then in 1972, formation of the Association of Physicians Assistant Program was formed to facilitate cooperation among PA educational programs. In the standardization period in 1973, the first AAPA annual conference was held at Sheppard Air Force Base with 275 attendees. In 1973, AMA and National Board of Medical Examiners created the NCCPA. In 1973 as well, National Board of Medical Examiners administered the first certifying exam to 880 lucky candidates. The incorporation period from 1981 to 1990. In 1981, the NCCPA introduced the recertification examination. In 1983, the NCCPA's Physician's Assistant National Certifying Examination, known as the PANCE, was recognized to include 3 components: general knowledge, extended core components, and clinical skills components. PA's role expanding and increasing into specializations, Medicare Part B reimbursement for PA services, and prescription privileges were given in most states at this point as well. The consolidation period from 1991 to 2000, AAPA assumes administrative responsibility for the Accreditation Review Committee on Education for Physician's Assistants. 1998, the NCCPA begins requiring PAs to pass one of the recertification exams within 2 attempts. And in 1999, the NCCPA's Physician's Assistant National Certification Examination, PANCE, is administered for the first time as a computer-based examination. The integration period, which is 2001 to the present, 2002 saw the representatives from the AAPA, ARC, PA, APAP, and NCCPA meet to share for the first time mutual concerns and interests relating to the PA profession. 2002 also showed Canadian, Dutch, and British delegations meeting during the AAPA's annual conference in Boston. 2003 also gave rise to Canadians Medical Association recognizing PA profession as a designated health science profession eligible for the CMA's accreditation process. Currently, the number of accredited PA's education programs surpasses 130. In international interest, PA model continues to grow. And that, my friends, is a short brief history of the PA career.